Hello and welcome to Senior Wise Journey. Do you remember that feeling? The thrill of stamping a new country in your passport, the taste of a food you couldn't pronounce, the sheer magic of standing somewhere you'd only seen in magazines. Travel is woven into the American spirit of discovery. It's a promise we make to ourselves for a life well lived. When I retire, I'll see the world. And now for many of us, that time is here. But as we step into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, the map of the world looks a little different. The call to adventure still sings, but it's harmonized with a new melody. A quiet tune of wisdom, caution, and self-awareness. Today, we're not going to talk about canceling your plans. Instead, we're going to talk about upgrading them. We will explore how to trade frantic tourism for profound discovery, ensuring our golden years are defined by joyous journeys, not stressful ordeals. This is about traveling smarter, safer, and with more soul than ever before. Let's begin.
Part 1. The Unseen Companion. Navigating your health on the road. Let's be honest, our bodies are like classic cars. They've taken us on incredible journeys, logged countless miles, and carry the beautiful dings and scratches of a life fully experienced. But you wouldn't take a vintage Mustang on a cross-country road rally without a thorough checkup, would you? The same principle applies to us. The greatest and most often ignored danger in traveling after 60 is assuming our health will behave the same way abroad as it does in the comfort of our living room. At home, you have your doctor, your pharmacy, your routine. Your body is accustomed to the local food, water, and environment. But the moment you step onto a plane, you introduce a world of variables. It's not just about pre-existing conditions like high blood pressure or a sensitive heart, which can be exacerbated by altitude changes on a flight or the strain of walking up a historic European hill. It's also about the unseen threats. Airports and airplanes are fascinating melting pots of humanity, but they're also petri dishes for global germs. An immune system that has gracefully handled decades of local bugs might be completely unprepared for a new strain of influenza from another continent. What might be a simple cold for a 30-year-old can escalate into pneumonia for a 70-year-old, turning a Parisian dream into a Parisian hospital stay. Consider the story of Bill and Sandra, a lovely couple from Ohio who planned a river cruise down the Danube. They were healthy, active, and excited. But a few days in, Sandra sampled some unpasteurized cheese at a local market, something she'd never do at home, but got caught up in the moment. The resulting foodborne illness was severe. They were far from their trusted physician, dealing with a language barrier, and the ship's medical facilities were limited. Her recovery took the rest of the trip and weeks after returning home. The lesson wasn't don't travel, but travel with foresight. So how do we pack our wisdom along with our passports? First, schedule a travel health consultation with your doctor at least a month before your trip. This is more than a checkup. Discuss your itinerary in detail. Are you going to high altitudes, humid climates? Your doctor can offer advice tailored to your body and your destination. Get copies of your important prescriptions and ask for a letter detailing your medical conditions, medications, and allergies. Second, become an expert on your destination's healthcare. Do they have modern facilities? How does their emergency service work? Keep the address of your country's embassy and a reputable local hospital in your wallet. And finally, let's talk about that unseen companion, your immune system. Support it before you go. Eat well, sleep well, and consider supplements your doctor might recommend. On the journey, be vigilant. Use hand sanitizer religiously, especially after touching public surfaces. Choose bottled water, even for brushing your teeth. Be cautious with street food and raw vegetables. It isn't about being paranoid. It's about being proactive. Your health is your most precious asset. Protecting it is the first and most critical step to ensuring your journey is one of joy, not jeopardy.
Part 2. The body's new rhythm. Embracing a wiser pace. In our youth, we wore travel fatigue like a badge of honor. A red-eye flight, hitting the ground running, and collapsing into bed after a 16-hour day of sightseeing was the mark of a successful trip. We treated our bodies like rental cars, drive them hard, and who cares about the consequences? But in our seasoned years, our bodies are no longer rentals. They are treasured homes we must care for, and they operate on a new, wiser rhythm. Ignoring this rhythm is the fast track to turning a vacation into an exercise in exhaustion. The phenomenon of travel fatigue for a senior is profoundly different. It's not just about feeling tired, it's a deep, cellular exhaustion that can dismantle your immune system, cloud your judgment, and steal the joy from your experience. Jet lag is a key culprit. As we age, our bodies produce less melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle. This means it takes significantly longer to adjust to a new time zone. While your 25-year-old grandchild might bounce back in a day, you might feel off for the better part of a week, struggling with brain fog and fatigue just as you're supposed to be marveling at the Louvre. Think of your energy as a bank account. A long-haul flight, a sleepless night in a noisy hotel, and the stress of navigating a new city are major withdrawals. Younger travelers have a larger account with a generous overdraft. Our accounts are more like a well-managed savings plan. We need to be mindful of our spending. Let's picture Carol, a 72-year-old retired teacher who booked a whirlwind 10-day tour of Italy. The itinerary was packed: Rome in 2 days, Florence in 1 day, then Venice. It sounded efficient on paper. In reality, it was brutal. Early morning bus calls, hours of standing in museum queues, and late dinners meant she was constantly running on fumes. She remembers seeing the Colosseum not with awe, but with a desperate desire for a chair. She returned home not rejuvenated, but depleted, needing a vacation from her vacation. So how do we travel in harmony with our body's new rhythm? The answer lies in a beautiful concept: slow travel. First, redesign your itinerary. Less is more. Instead of trying to see 5 cities in 10 days, choose 1 or 2. Rent an apartment for a week instead of hopping between hotels. This allows you to unpack,
create a temporary home base and explore a place with depth rather than breadth. You'll discover the little local bakery, the quiet park where residents walk their dogs, the true pulse of a place. Second, schedule rest. Build 0 days into your itinerary, days with absolutely nothing planned. Let your body sleep in, enjoy a leisurely breakfast, read a book at a cafe. These aren't wasted days, they are investment days, replenishing your energy account so you can fully enjoy the adventure days. Third, manage your environment for better sleep. Pack an eye mask, earplugs, and perhaps a familiar scent like a lavender sachet. Avoid heavy meals and alcohol close to bedtime. Prioritizing your sleep is the single most effective way to combat travel fatigue. Embracing this slower pace isn't a concession to age. It's an elevation of the travel experience. It's choosing to savor a single, exquisite meal instead of rushing through a buffet. It's about trading a checklist of sights for a collection of moments, ensuring you return home with a heart full of memories, not a body in need of repair.
Part 3. Minding your step. The landscape of physical safety. There's an undeniable romance to the old world. The cobbled stone streets of Prague, the ancient, winding steps of a Greek island village, the charmingly uneven floors of a centuries-old Tuscan villa. We see them in photos and dream of walking there ourselves. But for the seasoned traveler, this romantic landscape presents a very real and often underestimated physical challenge: the risk of a fall. A simple misstep that might have been a minor stumble at 40 can become a life-altering event at 70, resulting in a broken hip, a lengthy hospital stay in a foreign country, and a sudden end to independence. As we age, a trio of natural changes occurs. Our bone density decreases, our sense of balance, proprioception, can weaken, and our reflexes slow down. This doesn't mean we are fragile, but it does mean we must be more mindful of our environment. The world, especially the historic parts of it, was not designed with modern accessibility standards in mind. Those charming cobblestones are uneven and can be slick with rain. The dimly lit corridors of a castle can hide unexpected steps. The high curbs in a bustling city can be treacherous. Let's consider the experience of David, a 78-year-old history buff on his dream trip to Rome. He was fit and walked daily, but while stepping back to get the perfect photo of the Trevi Fountain, he didn't notice the uneven curb behind him. The fall was quick, and the consequences were immense: a fractured wrist and a serious blow to his confidence. The rest of his trip was spent navigating doctors' offices instead of museums. His story is a powerful reminder that even the most active and careful among us are vulnerable in an unfamiliar setting. Furthermore, travel fatigue, which we've already discussed, is a major contributor to falls. When you are tired, your coordination is impaired, your reaction time is slower, and you're less likely to notice potential hazards. Trying to navigate a crowded train station after a long flight is a recipe for a misstep. So, how do we explore the world confidently and safely on our own 2 feet? First and foremost, invest in your foundation, your footwear. This is not the time for stylish but unsupportive shoes. You need sturdy, comfortable walking shoes with excellent grip and support. Think of them as the all-terrain tires for your journey. If you use a cane or walking stick at home, even occasionally, bring it. It is a tool of stability and wisdom, not a sign of weakness. Second, be a keen observer of your surroundings. Scan the path ahead. Be mindful of wet floors, loose rugs in hotels, and changing elevations. Use handrails on stairs. That's what they're there for. At night, ensure your path is well lit, and don't be shy about using the flashlight on your phone to illuminate a dark walkway. Third, listen to your body. If you feel tired or your joints are aching, it's not the time to tackle that steep hill. Take a break. Sit at a cafe and people watch. Opt for a taxi or a bus instead of walking that extra mile. Pushing yourself beyond your limits is a gamble where the stakes are simply too high. Choosing a destination with good accessibility can also be a game changer. Many modern cities, cruise ships, and tour companies now specialize in senior-friendly travel. It's not about limiting your adventure. It's about setting yourself up for success. By respecting the landscape and your own physical reality, you ensure that your travel memories are about the magnificent views you saw, not the fall you took.
Part 4. Guarding your nest egg. The financial realities of modern travel. We spend a lifetime building our nest egg, carefully saving and investing so we can enjoy a secure and comfortable retirement. The irony is that a single ill-prepared trip can crack that nest egg wide open. The financial risks of traveling in our golden years are as serious as the health risks, yet they're often the last thing we consider until it's too late. It's a triple threat: unforeseen medical costs, non-refundable cancellations, and the ever-present danger of scams targeting seniors. The single biggest financial landmine is healthcare. It's a common and dangerous misconception that your Medicare or standard U.S. health insurance will cover you abroad. With very few exceptions, it won't. Let that sink in. A fall in Portugal, a heart issue in Japan, a sudden illness on a cruise ship. You are on the hook for every single dollar of that care, and the costs can be astronomical. A medical evacuation from a remote area back to the U.S. can easily exceed $100,000. Even a few nights in a foreign hospital for a less critical issue can run into the tens of thousands. Without proper travel insurance, a medical emergency can become a financial catastrophe. Then there's the risk of cancellation. We book our dream trips months, sometimes a year in advance, full of optimism. But life is unpredictable. A sudden health issue, a family emergency, or any number of things can force you to cancel. Airlines and cruise companies have notoriously strict no-refund policies. Without cancel for any reason trip insurance, you could lose the thousands of dollars you've already paid. The third threat is more insidious: scams. Seniors are often perceived as more trusting and potentially less tech-savvy, making them prime targets for sophisticated travel scams. This can start before you even leave home, with fake vacation rental websites that look incredibly real, like the story in the video. Or it can happen on the ground: the friendly taxi driver who takes you on a scenic and wildly expensive route. The shopkeeper who uses a rigged credit card machine to steal your information, or the helpful stranger at the ATM. These criminals are professionals, and they prey on the distraction and unfamiliarity that all travelers experience. So how do we fortify our finances for a journey? First, treat travel insurance as a non-negotiable part of your travel budget. It's as essential as your plane ticket. Don't just buy the cheapest plan. Read the fine print. You need a comprehensive policy that covers pre-existing medical conditions, emergency medical evacuation, and trip cancellation. Compare policies from reputable providers and call them to ask specific questions. Does this policy cover a flare-up of my arthritis? What is the limit for medical evacuation? Second, be a savvy booker.
Use reputable travel agencies or well-known booking websites. If a deal looks too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Call hotels directly to confirm reservations made through a third party.
Throughout our conversation today, we've journeyed through the critical considerations for travel after 60. We've talked about the importance of safeguarding our health, listening to our body's natural rhythm, minding our physical safety, and protecting our hard-earned finances. The message here is not to hang up your traveling shoes, but to lace them up with wisdom. It's about fundamentally shifting our perspective. The goal is no longer to conquer the world in a whirlwind tour, but to connect with it in a more meaningful, sustainable, and joyful way. The real lesson is this: the greatest adventures of this season of life may not be found halfway across the globe. They might be a stunning national park a few states away, a multi-generational family trip creating memories with your grandchildren, or deeply exploring the history and culture of a single city over a week. It's about quality over quantity. It's about choosing experiences that enrich your life, not exhaust your body or your bank account. Your well-being, your peace of mind, and your independence are the true souvenirs worth bringing home. Thank you for joining us on Senior Wise Journey. We believe this chapter of life is for thriving. If you found this discussion valuable, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. And we would be so grateful if you would share it with a friend or family member who might benefit. Your support helps us continue our mission. Travel wisely, live fully, and we'll see you next time.